ミーティングを始める際にはどういう英語フレーズを使ったらいいんですか？ TORAIZ はよく使いますよね。
We always use TORAIZ.
皆さんこんにちは。TORAIZ イングリッシュコンサルタントのゆりです。
Hello everyone, my name is Jake and I'm a native consultant here at TORAIZ.
今回のテーマはこちら。英語の会議で即使える神フレーズです。英語でのミーティングの際に日本語では言えるのに言えなかったり、言いたいことが伝えられなかったり、失礼なことを言ってしまっているんじゃないかと不安になってしまうことも多いのではないでしょうか。でも実はそこまで英語力だけの問題ではないんです。いくつかのフレーズ、ルール、そしてマナーを学べば誰でもミーティングをスムーズに進行することができるんです。この動画を見ていただければ英語でのミーティングをうまく回せるようになりますので、ぜひ最後までご覧ください。今回はミーティングで使えるフレーズをミーティングの初め、ミーティング中、そしてミーティングの終わりの3シーンに分けてご紹介します。ではまずミーティング前の会話で使えるフレーズからお話ししていきましょう。
Okay, let's go!
ミーティングを始める際にはどういう英語フレーズを使ったらいいんですか？
Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I think your time is important. My time is important, so I'm thanking you for your time. And that's very polite.
お礼を伝えるっていうことが大切なんですね。
Yes, it's very important. So,
次お願いします。
I think when we're trying to start a meeting, we say, shall we get started? There's another way to say that. Let's get down to business.
この2つの違いとかは何かあったりするんですか？
It's a good question. I think let's get started is more of a polite way to begin a meeting. It's from the beginning. You don't really have to be super serious. It's very casual. However, when you say let's get down to business, it's serious. The atmosphere is a little tense. It has to be serious for an important topic, I think.
前者の方がちょっとまだカジュアルで、2個目の方がもう始めるよっていうシリアスさが伝わる。
Perfect. That is a perfect explanation.
じゃあ何かについて話したいですっていう時はどんなフレーズ使いますか？
So we say, we're here today to discuss, you can put whatever you want at that point. And we like to introduce the topic in English. So we're here today to do this. We're here to say this. We're here to talk about this. But for a discussion, we say we're here today to discuss blah, 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 blah. By the way, nanchara in English is blah, blah, blah.
blah, blah, blah. なるほど。ありがとうございます。はい。そしたら今度ミーティング中のフレーズいくつか教えていただけますか？
There are two things that come to mind. Let's look at the first item on today's agenda. Agenda is a very professional way of saying list. We also have let's start with the first item. The difference between let's look and let's start, let's observe and let's begin. I think that's the slight difference between the two.
でもそこまで大きな違いはないですかね。
Yeah, you could use both interchangeably. Be careful when using them. Some people might misinterpret.
アジェンダは多分よく使う単語なのでぜひ押さえていただければと思います。じゃあ実際に始まってその他のフレーズとかはいかがですか？
I think that covers the first item, or I think that covers the blah 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 item. I think we're finished talking about this, so let's move on is the intended meaning behind that phrase. Let's keep track, let's keep the conversation in motion. So,
move on 以外にちょっとフォーマルなフレーズとかはあったりするんですか？
if you say let's move on, that's maybe a little too direct, even for English people. Yeah, maybe in formal settings we're not very direct. Let's move on, very polite.
面白いですね。他はどうでしょう？なんかトピックに移りたいけどちょっと時間がってなった時とかは。
Ooh, I'm afraid we only have blah 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 minutes left. So let's switch the topic. Let's move on to another topic. That shows that what you're saying is important, but if we look at the clock, if we look at our watches, we need to move on for the sake of time. Remember earlier I said, thank you for your time. We value it. Talking forever about the same thing is not polite with someone's time. So,
そういう時に I'm afraid を使うんですね。
Yeah, I'm afraid. Oh, that's the very polite way of saying it. If you say, oh, we have no time, maybe that's a little direct. Maybe that's a little impolite. Please be careful with that.
じゃあ意見とか考えとかを聞く時のフレーズとかはありますか？
Do we have any ideas or suggestions? I think is what we'd use. I think suggestions would be a polite way of asking for an opinion. So if you just bluntly or directly ask, hey, what's your opinion? Maybe some people in a formal setting might appreciate that phrase. So, do we have any suggestions from anyone? That allows anyone in the room to talk. So maybe if one person is a little afraid, a little nervous, oh, don't call on me, don't call on me. Say, hey, what's your opinion? We say very broadly.
ありがとうございます。他こう聞き取れなくてもう一回質問をしたいってなった時、よく Pardon っていうのを学んだりするんですけど、実際はミーティング中はどんなフレーズ使いますか？
Good question. So, pardon, although that is polite, sometimes that can also be seen as a little rude. So we could ask, like, oh, could you give me a little more details on that? Can I have a little more detail on that business plan or blah, 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 blah? Can I have some more details, please? Could you explain a little more?
Details.
Details. Details are important.
いいですね。で、最後ミーティングの終わり、締め言葉いくつかシェアいただけますか？
So if someone was talking a little too long about something and we are out of time, we would say, oh, well, it looks like we're running out of time for today, but let's continue later, or thank you for your time. Depending on if there's another meeting or like a next meeting, you can end it a little differently. The overall idea is we're running out of time. It's a lot better than hurry up. I think.
アイデアをこうまとめる時のフレーズとかはどうでしょう？
So when you're finished everything, all right, let's summarize the key points again. And that's to help anyone who might feel a little lost during the meeting.
Summarize はよく使いますよね。
We always use summarize.
ありがとうございます。次のミーティングの予定がもう立てられている時のこう告知方法とかはどうですか？
So we're usually looking at a piece of paper or at a computer. So, all right, so our next meeting is scheduled for, we use a lot. And it's not 100% this is our meeting 100% because things can change. So it is scheduled for versus it is. Saying that it is scheduled is the plan so far, but it could change. Whereas if you say our next meeting is today or tomorrow, it's 100% guaranteed. So if something happens, oh no, it's a little more serious. Be careful of the is scheduled for versus is.
じゃあスケジュール4は変わるかもしれないけど立てられている予定、is が確定している予定の時に使う。
Perfect.
たくさん学べましたね。はい、ありがとうございます。ここで問題です。今から言う日本語文の英文をコメント欄までください。今日の会議の目的は〇〇です。この動画で分からなかったところはコメント欄で質問してください。今回の動画が面白かった、ためになったと思う方は高評価、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いします。では次の動画でまたお会いしましょう。
See you next time.